What is up, faithful? It is your boy Niner Sickness with the Niner Sickness podcast. We have a great guest today. We're going to talk 49er football. We're going to talk a little bit what happened with the Niners and Bears, what the good, the bad, and the ugly. We're going to bring it to you guys here on the Niner podcast. So are you ready for some 49er football? Let's go.
Roll up to the party, roll up to the party. Roll up to the party, roll up to the party. Roll up to the party, roll up to the party. Roll up to the party, roll up to the party. Roll up to the party, roll up to the party. Roll up to the party, roll up to the party. Roll up to the party, roll up to the party. Roll up to the party, roll up to the party.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? We have a great show. We have a guest, the old man himself, the OG of the house. We have Super Dave tonight as a guest. He is not in right now. He'll be in momentarily. As soon as he comes in, I will bring him on the screen. I wanted to start, so I don't want to be late on YouTube. So I am going to lead the show until he pops in. Once he pops in, I will bring him on. Damien, how you doing, sir? Welcome to the show, Damien. Welcome. We got Jamie Bryant in the house. What's up? Thank you for wiping your feet. Appreciate that. Dina Harvey's in the house. The Queen of Philly. What's up, girl? Welcome. We got Raggy in the house. How you doing, sir? Is it Reggie? I think it's Reggie. I keep saying Raggy, but what's up, brother? Welcome. We got Playboy Loco in the house. How you doing, sir? Welcome to the channel. Let's see here. Give me a second. Damien says, my only question is when are people going to hold Kyle accountable for not being able to hold onto fourth quarter leads? I'm telling you, when are they going to hold them to that? Our guest just popped in. We're going to bring our guest in. Give me a second real quick. Give me a second. Let's see here. Let me bring him in really quick. Hold on, guys. I believe he has a green screen he might want to use.
Yep.
Let's see if I can turn this on. I really haven't really messed with the green screens. Hold on, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see. You should be able to use it.
All right. Let's see here.
Give me a second, ladies and gentlemen. But you're right, Damien. We should be able to hold Kyle Shanahan accountable for blowing up fourth quarter leads. That's something we'll discuss with our guest, get his insight. Raji, okay. Got you, my friend. Got you. Thank you for wiping your feet. He is getting situated. As soon as he gets situated, we will handle our business in a minute. Make sure to wipe your feet and smash that like button for your boy Niner Sickness. Let's see here. Oh, he's going. That's a nice background, by the way.
We'll go old school.
I love old school. All right, so let me get ready to bring him in. You guys, hold on for a second. Be patient with me. Let me get ready to bring him on. All right, he's set. Okay, so hold on. All right, he's ready to go. I'm going to bring him on in about a second. All right, guys. So with no further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring our guest, Super Dave, OG in the house. Let's welcome. Put your hands for our friend, Mr. OG. What's up, OG?
What's good, Beto?
Doing good, brother.
Sucks after.
Yeah, sorry for the mix up, bro. I have 3 shows back to back to back after you, 2 more shows
Oh
after
wow.
you. So yeah, so I've been communicating with everybody. So when I sent it to you, I got my time mixed, and then I came back and looked at my phone, and you said I thought it was. I'm like, oh shoot, yeah, it is. You were right. I'm like, darn. But I'm glad you're here, my friend. Glad you're here. So let me ask you. Uh, Before we go any further, as people are trickling in, where could everybody find you and find your crew, who you represent? I was going to bring it up, but I wanted you to do it. Who do you represent here, and how can they find you on social media?
All right. Well, on social media, you can find me at Mr. Edmondson on Twitter, Mr. Edmondson 30 on IG, and Sarcastro 30 on TikTok. I represent Real Talk Niner Talk. I'm 1/5 of the crew there. We also have Niner Style Don, our host and producer, Silverado Kev, who's going to be giving you an all 22 highlight tomorrow. Just note there. We also have Jew the Great and King Sersky on Twitter there. He conducts our Twitter forums. And we'll also have D Sizzle. He'll have the belt out. Usually, when you have a loss, he gets the belt out, and he's going to be whooping a few people tomorrow. But no, you can find us there. We have 2 shows a week, Wednesdays and Saturdays, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific on YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, and wherever podcasts can be broadcast.
Yeah, make sure to go give them a follow. A follow. That they are awesome. They work collectively together, man. These guys are fun to listen to. They keep it real. Listen, Niner fans sometimes need to hear the truth and not sugarcoat anything. These gentlemen do not sugarcoat anything. So, if you get offended easy, I tell you, go with discretion to watch the show. But if you don't get offended and you can handle the truth, then that's the show to watch because they tell you the truth, and that's the way it should be, in my opinion. No sugarcoating. If a player does good, they give kudos to that player. If they don't do good, they criticize, and that's the way it should be. So check them out as we do here. So, Dave, what a week, man. Who would have thunk
Yeah.
it that Seattle without Russell Wilson would have been 1-0 in the division and everybody else 0-1?
I definitely did not see that coming. Um, Denver just looked bad. All the teams in our division, even Seattle, just looked very, very bad. Um, with us, of course, you, first half defense is dominant. Second half, stupid penalties, blown coverage, and there you are.
Yeah, it's a hard battle to fight when you commit. I believe they have 12 penalties for 99, almost 100 yards. Nate,
And
that's
it
hard.
wasn't just the amount of penalties; it was when they came. Third down, we stop them, but somebody does something stupid. Another 15 yards extends the drive, and that's all Chicago needed.
Yep.
And the only person I think would get a pass or a game ball is Talanoa Hufunga. 11 tackles, 9 solos, 1 pass defense, 1 INT. He was basically everywhere on the field. It looked like one of his old USC games. But aside from that, everybody else just, man,
Yeah, he was the lone
everybody else,
bright side of it.
yes,
You're right. Even Trent Williams, big silverback, struggled a little bit in that
he
weather.
did. I was kind of surprised by that.
So yeah, matter of fact, people like to jump all over McClinchy. McClinchy, I don't know about you, Dave. He does okay,
Well,
but he always has that one play right at the wrong time that he allows to happen.
there were a few instances where he just got straight beat. but Trey Lance was able to compensate that for his feet. Still, you don't like to see that. I think our highest rated blocker actually was Spencer Burford
Yes, sir.
with a 90 rating or so there, but it just looked like they weren't together at all on Sunday, and we've got to get that cleaned up no matter who ends up as the quarterback there.
Yeah, definitely. There's a stat that I want to bring up that you mentioned. Let me see if I have it on this one. Nope. It's what happens when you have two phones. You got to remember which one you got the picture from. But give me 1 second. There's a stat that I wanted to bring on from our big boy Spencer Burford debut in the NFL. From 36 block passing snaps, zero pressures, zero sacks, and zero quarterback hits from that he allowed. I mean, this kid is special. I've been saying it from day one. I think he's going to be a top 10 guard by the end of the year. He just has the it factor that I saw from him in college, and the way he came in and he was put into that right guard position, never gave it up. And like you said, he had the best rating out of everybody, including Trent. So,
Right. I was very impressed with him as well at UTSA. My school, San Diego State, got to play them once or twice in bowl games there, and he always stood out. I agree with you that he is going to be a top 10 guard before the season's over.
that's been my prediction prior to the season starting, and I'm sticking with it. I you know I don't know about you, Dave, but I think you can agree that sometimes looking at a game on national TV on a Sunday, as fun as it is, you can't really get a feel for how the players did, good or bad, until you watch the All 22 and you break down the
Right.
film. Then you can really, really see, okay, he did really, really bad or really, really good or not so bad. And a lot of times I think offensive linemen get a lot of blame for certain things. And then you go back and watch the film, you're like, wow, you know what? They didn't do as bad as I thought they did or as bad as they looked on TV. Same thing with Trey. A lot of people want to blame Trey for this loss. Trey is not the reason for this loss. Did he make some mistakes? Yes. Do we know he's going to make mistakes? Yes. All of us knew that he's going to have his ups and downs. But if you look at the All 22, which I did, I saw a lot of positive things of this young man. So I want to ask you, did you get a chance to watch the All 22? And if you did or didn't, what are your thoughts and impressions of this young man in his first game?
I'm going to go back and watch the All 22 right after I get off of here. I did tape the game as well. There's one play I don't want to tip it away because Kev's going to talk about that play. But when he pointed it out to us, uh, you can see the reason it didn't go through, and it all wasn't all on Trey Lance there. Hi, Dina. Um, the interception that really hurt us at the time. It hurt us, and that's something he's going to have to learn from. You got to look off the safety. He didn't look off the safety, and he kind of tipped. He took too long to release the ball, and allowed that safety to break back toward the ball, and it was an easy interception. So he's got to get rid of the ball quicker in that instance. But those are things I believe he's going to correct. The one thing that they've always said about Trey Lance is that he never makes the same mistake twice. So it'll be eager to see. I'll be eager to see what he does against Seattle, whether he makes the same mistake or whether he's learned from that.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what you want. You want a quarterback that looks at film, looks at what he and critiques himself, looks at what he did right and what he did wrong, and improve on the qualities that he can improve on. And I don't want to blame, never want to blame the conditions of the field or weather for say you actually the field you can blame, but the weather you don't want to blame. But both teams had to play in that same monsoon. The Bears, I don't know about you, Dave, but that look on Nick Bosa, to me, said it all. When they were about to get off the field on a third down, and then you had Mooney commit a penalty,
Yes.
and gave him that first down. that look on his face was kind of like frustration. And then also the dumb penalties from Dre Greenlaw that he made. They gave the Bears, who were not moving the ball, extra 15 yards. And sometimes that's all you need. And I believe they were able to capitalize on a touchdown on one of those penalties
Yes,
conversions.
they were. That's exactly what I was talking about. And that does wear on you. You do your job, you want to get off the field, and then 15 yards or something that extends the drive, and you can't do that. And first half, we had, I believe, Debo had that turnover. That was a sure 7 points. Then we had another drive that stalled. And going into halftime, only 10 points down. If I'm Chicago, I'm feeling great because this, even though I've been outplayed at that point, I still have a chance to come back. And all it took is that one play, which that first touchdown really hurt. Of all the guys you don't want to score, Dante Pettis. Good Lord. That's something he'll be able to tell his kids about if
Yeah.
he does nothing else in the NFL. I got my old team back. That just hurt.
Yeah, that play where he was all alone kind of reminded me a little bit of Hill in the Super Bowl, Tariq Hill, when he was left all alone and nobody was
Hmm.
covering it. I'm like, oh my god! And that's for as good as Hufanga did all game. He kind of fell asleep on that one a little bit, and let out of all people
I
Dante
could blame the
Pettis,
line. I could blame the linebackers too that
Greenlaw.
were
Yeah,
way off the field and just left him over.
yeah, he was so he looked like a little in his phrase, kitten, because he likes cats. He looked like a little kitten on a tree, all happy, all by himself. He was waving and waving and waving. Nobody saw it. And as soon as I seen Justin Fields look that way, I'm like, oh. And it seemed like that was
Yeah,
kind of like the turning point of the game.
that did feel like the momentum shifted right with that one play. At 10-7, you could just feel that we weren't going to hold on.
Yeah. And and the game is, the game is truly based on momentum, how you're doing, how everybody's driving, and when you lose a momentum like that on a bogus play, man, it can take the wind out of you. And I think that's what
Yes,
it did with the defense. And then the penalties started to come in, one after another,
yes.
staying on the field when they
That
should have been
further
off.
that just further exacerbated everything.
Yeah, it did. And then let me ask you, it seemed like the offense was gelling. It seemed like the offense was moving the ball, was doing their thing, but it seemed like once Elijah Mitchell went down, it seems like they couldn't do that play act, set up the play action anymore, and they kind of got stuck with Wilson. They couldn't do anything for his life depended on it, and it
No,
seemed like it turned everything around.
that and they knew that Debo was getting the ball, so they could gear up for him. That really has me questioning our running back core. That was one of the
Yes,
things we were excited about. Yet TDP was inactive, and Mason was only in there for special teams. These are young guys. If they're not able to do the job, then why did we get them? Why didn't we put them in? And now I hear we worked out Tevin Coleman,
yeah. Oh my God.
Marlon Max being looked at. It really makes me question our running back core because obviously Wilson is not the answer. He basically looked like Sermon did in the preseason, just slow to get through holes. If we
Yeah.
don't have a running game, that leaves Trey Lance as a dead duck, and you can't have your quarterback leading you in rushing.
Yes. Yes. You're absolutely right. You can't. You're going to get him killed, and we can't have that. And you can see the difference between Elijah Mitchell and Jeff Wilson Jr. You can
Yes,
complete difference the way the offense was humming. They were able to utilize Debo even more when Elijah was in there. And once Elijah went out, because I didn't realize Elijah got hurt, but I did notice the offense changed. And when I noticed the
yes,
offense changed, I looked closer, and I'm like, oh man, number 25 is not in there. That explains it. And then later on, I found out that he was hurt. I'm like, man,
right.
So they got to get this. They got to get this fixed. Roger says that Mac got signed to the practice squad.
Practice squad. I liked him in Indianapolis. Hopefully, he'll be upgraded if need be, and we can get our running game back in track because that is a key element of our offense. If we don't have that, it doesn't matter if Trey's behind the line or Jimmy G's behind the line. We won't be successful.
E- e- Exactly. So let me ask you. I dislike injuries, but we know that injuries happen. It's part of the game, whether we like it or not. They come. Now, and the second man needs to step up and take advantage of opportunities. Now that Elijah's going to miss probably about 2 months, who do you think is going to step up? Do you think it'll be the young man Jordan Mason or TDP in your opinion?
Whew. I would like to see what Mason can do first, only because in preseason he went against the third and fourth stringers and looked impressive. To me, TDP had one preseason game where he had bursts, but Mason was more consistent. I would like to see him get some touches. That and the fact that they can use him more so than TDP, I think, as a third down back, which is a critical part of the offense as well. So I would like to see him get first crack at it.
Yeah, I agree. I think Jordan Mason will take advantage of the opportunities. It's all about, one thing I noticed with Shanahan, he doesn't like to go with rookies unless he absolutely has to. He'd rather go with
Well, this is one
veterans.
of those cases where he absolutely has to, I would think.
Yeah, and last year, he kind of, Raheem Mostert got hurt week 1, right?
In that Detroit game, yes. We just can't seem to
Get
catch
away
a
from
break
those
when it
week
comes
1
to
hurt.
running backs.
But
Hmm.
my point to that, he got hurt, and Elijah Major stepped up and took advantage of that case, right? So I'm hoping
Yeah.
that Jordan Mason can be the Elijah Mitchell of last year, where he can come in and showcase what he's about, and hopefully we can find our running back 2 in him, if or at least running back 3 behind TCP if need to be. But we definitely got to get this running back going against Seattle, because as bad as Seattle we think they are, they look pretty good against the Broncos.
Yeah, and I was very shocked at that. And offensively, they were able to run the ball. It looks like Penny, who was at San Diego State, now I was very high on, is finally getting his shot and making the most of it there. Didn't see a hell of a lot on either side because those are our week 2 and week 3 opponents. It
Yeah.
looks like both quarterbacks utilize their tight ends a lot there. So that has me pretty concerned.
Yeah, they sure did. Um, I heard one of the good things that I did hear though, that I believe Kittle should be back to practice. So that's a good sign, because we definitely needed him. Although I didn't want him to play in that freaking weather, so I'm glad he didn't play. But if he's healthy, we needed him for the blocking purposes.
Well, this game just became more and more important there. So it's definitely right to save him from Chicago and implement him this week.
Yeah, definitely. Um, do you think that if he's absolutely ready, go ahead and bring him in this week, or do you think that we
Yes.
can get by one more week and bring him in for the Denver Bronco game?
No. I would use him this week. It is a divisional game. And right now Seattle is in first and we've got to make a statement early.
Yeah, that's a very valid point. Everybody predicted the Broncos to go in there and beat Seattle with Wilson, and they struggled. But those week 1 games can always go one way or the other. But divisional games, you're right. These guys know each other. Pete Carroll knows Shanahan. Shanahan knows Pete Carroll. So you got to have your best 11 in there at all times, especially in a divisional game. So I would love to see Kittle in there at full force. Long as he's not thrown in there if he's still hurt. I think what 90% Kittle is still better than 100% a
Yes,
lot of other tight ends.
indeed.
So I
What's up,
want
Dion?
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I just saw him pop up on the chat there.
Oh yeah,
And
Niner
Karki.
gang. Welcome to the channel. Everybody that is popping in, welcome, welcome. Um, Listen, there's a player that I wanted besides Hufanga, which he took the show away. I mean, this kid was everywhere. He reminded me a little bit of Ghostin and Ronnie Lott mixed in there doing his thing on Sunday. But
Yes.
this kid here that I was high on coming out of college, and I liked him, and he made the team, and he was our starting nickel, which is Samuel. Out of from 12 coverage snaps, he was only targeted twice. They had one catch, and he only allowed 8 yards in the
I
whole
kind of
game.
figured he was going to have a successful game because Chicago really doesn't have a slot receiver,
True.
but I expect him to be tested very well next week. You have Lockett, who can go up the middle. I don't see him with Metcalf, but another former 49er had a good game yesterday, Marquise Goodwin. So I expect him to be very tested in the second week, but I'm also impressed by Womack as well.
Yeah. Did you see the love that Geno Smith gave Goodwin? It's been all over
Yes,
social media when he grabbed his butt and squeezed it.
I did see that.
What is that?
I can't call it.
I'm like, okay, I know smacking the butt, right? Everybody does that. You smack the butt, kind of like right on, but he grabbed it.
Yeah, I can't speak on that. I
I
just
was
know
like,
for both of them, they're kind of outcast, kind of thrown away by their former teams. Goodwin was a Bear, then he came to us, then he went somewhere else, and now he's found a home in Seattle. We all know Geno Smith's story, so those two kind of identify with each other. I
true.
don't know if it constitutes grabbing that, but
Yeah, yeah. I'm pretty sure
you
that
know,
was. I know people are reading more into it than what it is, but I don't know. But it is what it is. But you're right. Goodwin moved around a lot. He's over there. I honestly, I didn't even know he was with Seattle until I saw that picture. I'm like, oh, okay, there he is. And but I knew Gino being after being drafted from the Jets and kind of moved around. Didn't work out there, and then now he's there, and he had a decent game against the
he
Broncos.
really did. He didn't try to do too much. He played within himself, and we saw his threat with extending plays and running as well. He had a couple of good runs against Denver yesterday, and that's a pretty good defense to do it against as well.
You had a question there from Brian. He says, "Is Silver or Kip still with you guys?"
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, he's still with us. He'll be there tomorrow.
yeah. So check out his show because he'll be breaking down the All 22, and you don't want to miss it because he has a very valid point that he wants to bring out. So if you love to know what about your team, you want to get educated, tomorrow would be great to go and check out their channel and let Kev educate you a little bit on what he saw on film. So
Indeed.
So let me ask you, and today is just kind of a little bit of freestyle with you, my friend. Let me ask you. I want to get to know you a little bit, and I want to get my viewers to get to know you. I know they call you the OG, and you've been around watching Niners probably as long as me. What
This
who
is season 45.
season 45? So you started watching.
When OJ, the murderer Simpson, first got on the
Oh,
team
okay, we went there. Yeah, I
there.
know. I was watching. I was telling people I started watching the Niners before Bill Walsh, before Joe Montana. You know what
Hmm.
I mean? Before, and it was doom. You know what I mean? People don't realize when they started coming in the '80s how good they had it, but how bad we had
Yeah,
it prior to the '80s.
you couldn't even find a 49er game on TV. As a young kid,
Tell
I
them,
didn't
bro.
even know the 49ers existed until OJ Simpson signed there. It was the Raiders which dominated, and the Steelers were winning everywhere, so they had the nation on lock, and the Cowboys were just emerging. I didn't even know the 49ers existed until my father sat me down in front of the television, and there's Wayne Walker's 49er preview. Uh, I was just looking for an alternative as a kid to the Raiders. I never did like them, so I just stuck with them from then on.
Yeah, it was hard to watch. Um, Back then, watching the football, getting to know love your 49ers. Which player? Well, give me one on offense, one on defense. Let's start with offense. Who was your favorite player all time, and what did that player mean to you as a fan?
Well, I won't go with the obvious picks. I'll go with a guy you may not remember. He was a fullback and special teams. He wore the number 30. His name was Bill Ring. Um,
Bill
yeah, he
Ring.
played fullback a little bit, but he was mostly on special teams, known for just going in there and getting dirty. He didn't get a lot of coverage, but he played hard, and he stuck it out to get one Super Bowl ring, that very first one. As far as defense, Keena Turner's an honorable mention, but
Mm.
from the first time I saw this guy hit somebody, Ronnie Lott has always been my favorite defensive player.
Ronnie Lott. Yeah, you can't. You have a guy that allows himself to cut his pinky off, part of his pinky, just to get back into
Yeah,
the game. You
that
never heard
sealed
it
it for
since.
me.
And after that,
Yeah, that sealed it for me there.
yeah, yeah. This guy talk about the love of the game, talk about passion, talk about playing for your teammates, playing for the love of the
hmm
game. When you sit there and you allow them to cut part of your pinky off in order for you to get back in there, I don't know which player today, especially in today's football, would even come close to even think about doing that.
No, no.
They'll be like, we'll play in the next couple of weeks.
I think their agents would prevent them from doing that today.
Well, you know what? I didn't even think about that. You're right. There, it wouldn't even be much the players. It'd be more of the agents that would say, no, 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 it's not good for business. Now that because remember back then, you only saw them on TV. There was no social media. Everything wasn't hyped as it is today.
Right.
Now it's all about social media. So I agree with you. Back then, it was just what you saw on TV on Sunday or Monday. They didn't even have Thursday back then. So uh, it's funny to see that. But
It was just more violent back then too.
oh
You know,
yeah, oh yeah.
if Joe Montana or Steve Young played in today's game, they would last a long time. You can't touch a quarterback. You can't go after the quarterback. Um, Heaven forbid they slide and you land on top of them accidentally, you'll get a 15-yard penalty like what happened Sunday. So,
You want to know what's funny about that, Dave? Is a couple of weeks ago I was watching an old game. Okay, I was watching an old 1984 game, and my wife was talking to me. The kids came over to visit, and so there was a little bit of noise, and I got south distracted of which game I was watching, and there was a hit
mhm,
on Joe Montana. Right, he was running out of bounds, and he got slammed out, and no call, no penalty, and I
right.
freaked. I'm like, what the? Where's the penalty? Right? And then I thought about it. Oh shoot, I'm watching an old game. There wasn't no penalties for those type of hits back then. The Giants, what's his name? Burt used to try to eat Joe Montana for lunch.
Jim Burke.
Jim
Yes.
Burt,
Oh, my
those
goodness.
hits to Joe Montana. When you saw Steve Young crawling on the Cardinals game on the floor, those were hits. Nowadays, like you said, if you slap somebody, God forbid you grab their butt when
Right.
they're down, you get called for you call for a penalty, right? I'm not.
Right.
Somebody put that on social media. I can't. Anyway, that's gonna stick for me for a minute. I'm like, what the heck? I watched it over again. I try to give the benefit of the doubt to Gino.
Right.
I'm like, nah, but that was a. I mean, he grabbed him better than I ever grabbed my wife, bro. So it's like, I don't know,
Wow.
bro. That's that's a little, talk about keeping your
A little
friends
bit of
close.
pay grade, I guess.
But yeah, so I was watching that old game, and it kind of It kind of threw me off, but realized that hey,
Yeah, back then you were just praying that they got up. Now we're conditioned to look for a flag when something like that happens.
yeah, yeah, because you can't even look at, you can't even, as soon as the quarterback releases the ball, you can't even look at him because if you just slightly hit him, you know what I mean, it's a penalty, 15 yards, and back then, I mean, quarterbacks were getting slammed. I remember what's his name, the quarterback for the Giants, Chris's dad, Phil Sims.
Phil
Bro,
Sims, yeah.
he used to get clobbered a lot by defensive end. These quarterbacks don't understand. Let me ask you on that topic. Name me one quarterback that is starting, not backups or who were starting, but name me one quarterback that is starting today that would absolutely not be able to handle the roughness of back then. In your opinion,
How much time you got?
I know. Hey, Melissa, welcome to the channel.
Let's see. Jared Goff is the first name that comes to mind. Good Lord. In our division, uh, I won't say Matt Stafford
Oh,
because
he's pretty
he
good.
came back when he played in Detroit. He came back on a hobbled leg to get him a victory, so I
Yes.
have to eliminate him. I don't know much about Geno Smith to include him in that pedigree. Let's see. Dak Prescott is kind of brittle.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, the quarterback now for the Indianapolis Colts.
Oh, Matt Ryan.
Yeah, I guarantee he wouldn't have lasted back then.
I agree. I agree. Melissa says Tom Brady would definitely not be one to last. I don't
Uh,
know. I don't know about
yes
that.
and no. Because Brady started in the era before we got all protective of the quarterback, and he took some pretty decent shots. So I would give him a pass.
I agree.
But
I agree.
Aaron Rodgers would probably be the first guy to complain if he got hit like that. So,
Yeah. Good luck complaining then. What do you think about what's his name, the quarterback for the Titans, Tannehill?
yeah, they did. Did they win last Sunday?
No, they lost to the Giants,
Good lord,
to Daniel
I'm
Jones.
50 on Tannehill. You can see he has potential there, but they rely so much on their running game. It's kind of hard to gauge there.
Yep. Yeah, it is, man. So I just want to welcome a couple people that have been coming in here. Melissa just popped in. Brian popped in. We got David Villa popped in. Lucky
Yeah,
49ers popped in. He's a big Niner fan and Celtics fan. My Lakers rush rival.
no, he hasn't gone to the Cowgirls yet.
I don't think he'll go. I don't think because remember it's up to him
That's a
to decide where he
that's a
wants to
bad
go.
situation. It's a bad situation going there.
Yeah, as much as we dislike him and want him to be moved, you got to think about him going
I
to
wouldn't
a.
wish that on my worst enemy.
Yeah, exactly. They can't protect nobody over there. They have nobody to throw the ball to over there. CeeDee Lamb looks like I don't know if he's going to be the number one over there yet.
I kind of questioned them taking away Amari Cooper as well.
Yeah,
And yeah, that offensive line is in bad. It's in bad as bad a shape as ours right now. I
yeah,
think we can get ours cleaned up, but we need to do so in a hurry because now the schedule gets tougher. The Seattle game before Sunday, we took it for granted. Now it's an
yeah.
important
Isn't
game
that funny?
for Sunday night, and then here come the Rams, week 4.
Yeah, isn't that funny? Prior to the week starting, we kind of like, the Seattle's no problem, blah blah blah. We're gonna beat the Bears, move on to Seattle. But now that Seattle's 1-0, and we're 0-1, that does put a little bit of pressure on the Niners to, like you said, to make a statement and get that win. They can't afford to lose that game to
No,
Seattle because that game in Denver, it's going to be hard to win that one. And if they lose to Seattle, I mean, now you're looking at an 0-3 start. Oh my goodness, that's hard to come back from.
against, and then facing the Super Bowl champs.
Yeah, yeah. Yep. And I know that we play them well and we match them up very well. But listen, on any given Sunday, anything you just can't afford to go play the Rams on week 4, 0-3, and hope you can beat the Rams. You want to go facing the Rams at least what 1-2
or 2-1
or two
preferably.
one preferably better than 0-3. So absolutely. So let me ask you on that note, what do you think the Niners need to do in your opinion? And I know you haven't watched the all 22, so it's kind of maybe guessing for you, and I'm okay with that if you don't mind. What do you think they got to do with the offensive line to prepare themselves for this game against Seattle?
Oh goodness. Well, we've got to establish the run game first of all, because without that, the passing game is going to fail. We've got to get a replacement for Mitchell. I don't know who that's going to be. But we've got to get back. He was averaging 6.8 yards a carry before he got out. Now, obviously, not every running back is going to get that average, but we got to get into the 3.5 to 4 yard per carry average to get comfortable, to get Lance comfortable and get him some better looks, because we got pressured by four guys. They didn't even blitz up the middle. They didn't have to.
Nope.
Now maybe it was the conditions, but they with that four rush, they were able to get to him no problem. And that's Chicago's defense. When we go against the better defenses, if we're looking like that, no quarterback's going to last long. So offensive line and the running game offensively, we've got to get that working for week 2. Defensively, we played a well enough a game. You just got to be disciplined. You can't allow stupid penalties to get to you, because Fields was getting pressure all day from our front, which we expected, which I liked. But he is who he is. He's elusive. So it wasn't going to be a large sack party. So you've got to stay disciplined. You can't allow drives to extend with stupid penalties, because the teams that you should have beaten will have life. We can't afford to do that against Seattle, because Pete Carroll always finds a way to make us pay.
Yeah, yeah, he does. I that guy is so animated, man. That guy cracks me up, chewing that gum
It's hard to believe he's 71.
and moving the way he moves. Back,
Right,
So I mean, credit to him that he's capable to do that. He's still annoying, but the fact that he's still be able to chew. I mean, I don't know how. I mean, his gums must be really loose or jaw to be able to do that for 3 hours, man. Because he goes,
right.
and I know it's not the same gum, but he's still chewing through the beginning to the end, and that guy's just shoes. Mariah's in the house. How you doing, Mariah? Welcome to the channel.
Brian,
Good to see you, Mariah.
I
Thank you for.
wanted to go back to a point that one of your viewers made at the beginning,
Can
with
you
Kyle
remember?
Shanahan and his calling of plays in the fourth quarter. That's starting to be a constant theme that
There,
he can't shake there.
there you go.
Damian Lee.
Yeah, this is.
Uh,
My only
yeah,
question is when are people going to hold Cal accountable for not being able to hold onto the fourth quarter lead? I'm assuming that's the one you were talking about, right?
right. And that's a reputation that has stuck with him, or should have stuck with him, ever since that Super Bowl and that 28-3 lead being blown away. You know, fourth quarter, you cannot afford to be conservative. Conservative for what? That's only going to cost you later on. We got conservative in the NFC Championship game. We got conservative in the NFC wildcard game, and Dallas almost came and got us. So, yeah, that's got to change. I understand that Trey's barely been out there, but you brought him in there and you made him the starter for a reason. It's time for him to showcase that. So you might want to open the playbook just a little more.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know what it is about that. Dave, that he's it's a track record all the way back from Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
Allowing not putting their foot down the throat. They play pre-beat defense and they start allowing big plays, kind of like what they gave up to Pettis. They were protecting that small lead instead of putting their foot down and allowing Trey to do more. They kind of held on to his leash a bit, and things happen and things turn around. Now, credit to the Bears. It seemed like when they, I don't know about you, bro, but what I saw is maybe it's just me, but it seemed like when they scored the last touchdown, that water came down like it was like on cue.
Yeah,
Oh
it
my
was.
goodness.
We were doomed after that.
Yeah, it's like how do you? Yeah, bro, that water came on strong. What's the name? I was watching John Chaplin, and he was saying that his phone doesn't work. His phone because of the
Yeah,
water. He was at the game or wouldn't
I was in
couldn't
that kind of
charge or
weather
something.
last year. I was in that kind of weather last year when we played the Colts and we had that bomb cyclone. So I don't think any quarterback would have been successful in that weather.
Yeah, they showed a picture of or a video clip of this lady eating popcorn, and the water from the top kind of fell on it, and it just soaked it all away, and she kind of looked like she was bummed. I'm like, yeah, when you're out there in that weather trying to eat popcorn, you're probably going to get that to happen. You know what I mean? So let's defensively, real quick, as we come more to our hour. Who impressed you besides Tanoa Hofanga? 'Cause obviously, he was one that impressed all of us. But who impressed you defensively from the naked eye watching the game on Sunday? That you're like, you know what? As much as we were penalized, struggled, but this kid, I look forward to seeing more games, him doing better.
For me, it's Javon Kinlaw. There was that one period where he went out a couple plays
Yeah, it was kind
and
of
we were
scary.
holding our breath, but he looked very good pushing the line across and getting pressure up the middle there. We need for that to continue because eventually we're going to work out the kinks and stay disciplined on defense. And that pass rush up the middle is going to be huge. That opens so many more doors for guys. It gives Bosa and whoever's on the right side, whether it be Ep Sampson or Drake Jackson, so much more opportunities to get at the quarterback.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he was one of the guys that I looked at as well. Right off the gate, you can see him just penetrate to the backfield and get into the quarterback's face. I would love to see more of that. Now, given it was the Bears' offense, and I think they were just as bad or worse than us, although they kind of played a little bit better protecting than we did. But I still like what I saw in Kinlaw. He's promising. If they continue to do that, that'll be great. And then
We just need to have it from all four quarters. The first half, I think Fields had negative passing yards,
yep,
and they certainly did not have a running game to speak of. It's just that second half, it just something about the undisciplined penalties just made everything unravel, and they start finding holes and chinks in the armor there. We can't afford that.
yeah, yep, I agree. Um, so now moving on a little bit to the Seattle game. What do you think? What challenges do you think Seattle brings as what you saw yesterday in that Monday night game that the Niners have to be prepared for? Otherwise, it can be a long day as well.
If they're able to run like they did against Denver, which I'm hoping we can stop, but if Penny gets those kind of holes, it's going to be a long day for us. You know, especially with Jimmy Ward being out, I'm concerned about our coverage for the wide receivers. But if we make them one dimensional, uh, then it's in our favor there. But Tyler Lockett, he's going to wiggle around in case their quarterback starts to scramble and get loose. That's what he's famous for. And of course, Metcalf is a man among boys. I'm excited to see that matchup with him and Mooney or him and Ward, depending on what side he goes on there. But definitely that running game looks much improved. If they're able to run like that against us, it's going to be trouble.
Yeah, I hear you. Hopefully that won't be the case. Hopefully that Javon Kinlaw can anchor down and hold on, and hopefully take on double teams so that that allows Fred Warner to step in and help with that run game. But you're right. That's something they're definitely going to have to work on that run because they. It seemed like Seattle was able to move against that DJ Jones and Chubb's front, which is not a bad front
Right.
for Denver, and they were able to penetrate. So they
It's
have to
not, but
be
they look ordinary
ready for
yesterday.
that. Yeah, yes. So that's okay. So stop the run. Now, how do you think the Niners will do against the pass? You think they'll be able to keep up with their receivers?
I feel better about this year's group than I did last year's group. Um, and again, if we're able to stop the run, that makes them one dimensional, so we can key off. I don't expect a lot of holes in the secondary this season.
Yeah, yeah. Same here. I like the addition of Mooney. I like Emmanuel Mosley's underrated corner. I love that we have Samuel, the third out there now, doing his thing, and then we have what's the name playing out of his mind week one in Hufanga, doing everything. And then as long as Hufanga plays the way he played on Sunday, I rest a little bit easier knowing that whether it's Travarius Moore, whether it's George Odom on the other side, we'll be okay until
Right.
Jimmy Ward gets back to this defense. And I think Hufanga will do that. I think this kid has been getting better every rep. He got better towards the end of last year, and now he's carrying it forward to the
Yeah,
beginning of this year.
the knock on him was
Coverage.
not instinct because he knows where the ball's going to be. You can't teach that. It was speed.
Yeah.
But he looks faster than last season. If he
Yeah.
gets any more faster, just look out.
Yeah. Yeah. If he picks that up and able to cover sideline to sideline because of that speed that he was lacking of supposedly, he's going to be great. And I think he's going to be a great player for us going forward. So the Niners find. I don't know about you as we come to a close, Dave. It seems like the fifth round. It's a
Yes,
round that we hit on players. We're talking about George Kittle, who started it all. Drake Greenlaw. You have Hufanga. Who am I missing out on there? Now, was it Drake Greenlaw? I mean, Danny Gray was in the fifth round, I think.
Danny Gray.
Yeah,
I would like to see him get some action. We held him out. I don't know why.
yeah,
But
that
I
was
do
weird.
with Seattle's defense, especially now that it looks like Jamal Adams is going to be out for some time. They go into base coverage, so that makes them a prime target for a speedster like Danny Green. So I would like to see him get some action this Sunday. And shout out to Jawan Jennings, the kind of forgotten guy. He had some key third down catches once again on Sunday.
Yeah, sure did. So I don't know why he was out. I don't know why TDP. I understand that TDP because he wasn't able to use in special teams. That's why they held him inactive. But meaning that they brought Mason in for special teams primarily, but knowing that we lost Raheem Mostert and it was Jeff Wilson Jr., weren't you surprised that they did not give him any type of snaps in that Bears game?
I was asking myself why, especially when it looked apparent that Wilson wasn't going to be able to get through the line, why not put him in? And why have him on special teams and not put him in?
Yeah, I don't know. Those are the head scratchers that I hope they can work, man. So one game down, 16 to go. I know you're not throwing in the panic alarm but
Oh,
if
good lord! As many 2-14 seasons I've gone through, no.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, last year, now, given, I mean, I don't know about you, but the Niners always seem to start uh, slow. Why? I don't know. Even games they win, they start slow. Although that game against the Lions, it looked like they were finally going to start fast, and then they slowed down towards the end, and they
Well,
were.
that was more of a momentum thing. I was at the game in Detroit last
Oh,
year.
okay.
We got to 31-10. Lions fans were leaving. They were gone. And then
Wow.
the moment that Jason Verrett got hurt, you could literally feel the momentum change. And then Detroit scored on that drive. And then a few trickled in. And then they got the onside kick and they scored on that drive. And then more came in. By the time you got to 5 minutes left, we had a full stadium again, and half of these people were outside.
Wow. Yeah. I remember a couple of games in Candlestick Park when I was a season ticket holder there. Um, there would be games where they're like blowouts and the teams will be leaving, or a lot of times the Niners will be losing badly, and
Right.
they were leave. I and particularly, I'll give you a perfect example. I was there, that playoff game with Jeff Garcia and the Niners and the Giants.
Yes.
A lot of Niner fans were leaving. They were in their cars, and then when they started to hear that the Niners were coming back, they're trying to come back, but now it's harder
Trying to
to
get back in the
it's
stadium.
hard to
Yeah.
get because everybody's trying to get back in, and you missed half of the comeback trying to get back to your seat. This is why
Right.
I understand you leave a few minutes early because you're trying to beat the traffic, and I understand you can be in that traffic for hours, but that's part of the game. That's part of being going out there, knowing you're gonna be delayed. I've always been one that I wait till the fourth quarter to end because I like to see players talk to amongst each other. I like to talk around. I like to talk around fans. So I make it a whole day. So, but I seen a lot of players, a lot of fans leave. Niner fans leave, think and rightfully so that the Niners were getting their butt kicked by I forgot his name, the tight end for the Giants.
Bavaro. Or no,
No,
Shockey.
Chalky. Yeah,
Jeremy
Chalky.
Shockey.
Yeah, Navarro was the Packers.
No, no, not, no. He was Bravo was Phil Sims era, 89.
Oh, was he?
Bavaro.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Okay, my bad. Yeah, so people were leaving, bro, and they were just kind of like, and then the Niners, although that field goal grab when it should have been when it was a lineman downfield, it should have been called. I'm glad it wasn't because
Right.
it favored us. But it should, and I think that was
That's
that was what's his name, Carter, right? Mike Carter, Andre Carter.
yeah.
They shouldn't have been down there, and I'm like, no, and then they didn't call it. I'm like, let's go. Unfortunately, we got our ass kicked the next week, but
Of course.
that was that the Atlanta game that we lost to when Garrison
Hmm.
went down the very first play.
Very first play. Yeah.
Yeah, see the Niners. I think the Niners would have won that game easily if it wasn't for the wind taking out and that first. I mean, the very first play you lose your. Yeah, that's even back then we were struggling with that with running backs, right? And it seems to trickle down
Right.
even to today. It's like what is going on with that black cloud over us with running backs?
I don't know, but I wish it would go away.
I'm telling you, absolutely. Real quick, Dave, it's been fun. Let me ask you before I let you go. Let those that had came in late know again where to find you, what's happening tomorrow, and what they can look forward to once they log onto your channel.
All right. I represent again Real Talk Niner Talk on YouTube. We call ourselves the home of that official realness. So no player is excluded, whether they do well, whether they did terrible. We're going to talk about it. I'm one of five. I'm Super Dave, the OG. Our host and producer is Niner Style, Don. Silverado Kev will be back with his game film, all 22. Jew the Great will be there. King Sersky will be there. And then we have D Sizzle. He'll have the comedy. He's getting out the belt. A few people are going to get whipped tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. You can find us on Twitter, our Facebook page. We have a TikTok page. Um, and again, we're on YouTube. It's Real Talk Niner Talk. I don't know if I can show this. It's kind of blurry there.
Yeah, it looked a little blurry. Yeah.
We're on Wednesdays and Saturdays, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 Pacific. Same time, same channel.
There you go, and check them out, man. I know, I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys are already following them. They're blowing up over there. They are a huger. They have a lot of followings, and rightfully so, man. They bring great content. Everybody brings their own flavor to that platform, and they're awesome. So check them out, especially tomorrow, because Kev has something that he wants to show, and I'm going to be there myself, God willing, for myself to look at. Well, Dave, Super Dave, the OG, it was an honor and pleasure having you on.
I put in a good word with you for Don, so
I
I don't
appreciate
think you'll
that.
have that troll title anymore.
I appreciate and again, like I tell people, with my ex-wife, there was a one time that I don't hate her, but there was a one time that I loved her. Now I just, we can just put up with each other, but it happens. Jimmy was the quarterback. I liked him. I supported him, but I always wanted Trey. Once Trey was given the reins, I don't look back. I don't. Oh no, So I'm glad you were able to. And I remember the other day when you were on the show, you did bring it up to his attention. I appreciate that. Yeah,
Oh
because
yeah,
yeah, it's
glad to
like
be called out.
yeah. I appreciate. Yeah, I'm like trolling. No, I'm not trolling. But anyways, thank you for stopping by, brother. You're always welcome to come back. You have a
Well, thank you for
wonderful,
having me.
blessed day. Take care,
Yes, sir.
and we'll see you guys, everyone, on the next 49er podcast. Everyone have a blessed day, and I'll talk to you in a minute, Dave.